Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/AmIOverReacting for you all. As per usual, I'll be going through the post, giving you my opinion at the end, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Work Gullible 9903. Am I ever reacting for asking my boyfriend to set boundaries with his work wife after late night texts? I'm 27 female. My boyfriend is 28 male. He started at a busy restaurant/bar about 6 months ago and got close with one of the servers, 25 female. He calls her his work wife. At first, I didn't care. I work service and I know people bond during hectic shifts. Lately, she's been texting him late at night, around 12:30 to 1 a.m. after close. Stuff like, "Did you get home safe? You are so cute explaining wine tonight," with a heart, or sending mirror selfies before her shift asking, "Yay or nay?" and saying he's the only guy with taste. He says it's harmless and standard for the industry. He did show me some messages on his own, but when I said it made me uncomfortable, he turned off message previews. That felt like the opposite of reassurance. I met her at a staff party, and she barely looked at me. She introduced him to a new hire as my partner, then laughed and said, "work partner." When I tried to be friendly, she walked off. I'll admit, I went quiet after because it felt weird. I told my boyfriend I don't want to control who he's friends with, but I need boundaries. No pet names or hearts, no outfit selfies, just to him, and no urgent texts after 10 p.m. He says I'm overreacting and that they need chemistry to keep service smooth. I'm not asking him to quit, I'm asking for respect. Am I overreacting? For people who work in restaurants, is this normal? If not, how would you word the boundary convo so it doesn't spiral? Do I keep this only between me and him, or ever say something to her? I don't want to be petty, I just want to feel secure in my relationship. I'm gonna be honest, unless the service industry has drastically changed in like 8 years, this is not standard at all. This is just flirting. I don't really know what else to say here beyond the fact of like, if it's making you uncomfortable and you address this with him, and his response is not to tone down the behavior but then gaslight you and turn off message previews on his phone, that's sus as hell. And sprinkle all of that with the fact of just how she was looking at you / lack of looking at you at a staff event party, and then also her introducing your boyfriend as your partner and then coyly correcting herself afterwards. Yeah, no, not overreacting. Set a hard boundary with your boyfriend. Tell him either the work wife goes or you go. And just be clear, I'm not saying that he should stop being friends with her. I'm saying he should put up boundaries and respect his partner. Rarity 3155. Am I overreacting? My landlord is stealing my designated parking spot. I'm about ready to lose it. I shell out an extra $150 every month for a designated parking spot. It's written into my lease in bold, black and white. That spot is supposed to be mine. Period. But my landlord? He treats it like it's his personal VIP parking. At least 3 nights a week, I come home after a long day at work, and guess what's sitting in my spot? His giant SUV, like it owns the place. Half the time I have to circle the block like an idiot or park 3 streets over. One night, I was hauling groceries in the rain and had to carry everything in soaking wet because he couldn't be bothered to move. I've confronted him multiple times. At first, he'd sheepishly move the car. Then it turned into excuses. "I'm just unloading something. I'll be out in a minute. Relax, it's not a big deal." Last week when I told him I'd call a tow truck next time, he laughed in my face and said, "Good luck, I own the building." Like, excuse me? Owning the building doesn't mean you get to rob me of something I pay for every single month. This isn't some casual courtesy. It's part of my lease. He's literally pocketing my money while taking the one thing I'm supposed to get in return. So now I'm sitting here wondering, do I escalate this legally? Do I follow through and tow his damn car just to prove a point? Because every time I come home and see his SUV in my spot, it feels like he's laughing at me. Like I'm some kind of fool for thinking a signed lease means anything. I'm beyond pissed. This isn't just annoying, it feels like being stolen from every single day. So there are some comments saying just go ahead and tow him. Do not do that. That is not a good idea. You have no idea what the lease writing states. You have no idea what the building terms state. Like there There are so many gray areas that we don't know and that you more than likely don't know that could lead to so many escalations that could just be more headaches than everyone. Consult a lawyer in this instance. Get your term paperwork looked at, look at it yourself, see what you can point out, because oftentimes lawyers will have a free consultation where you can, provide what you got and they can, let you know what they think or what you can and can't do, or hell, maybe even just take you on as a client. But still, do not call a tow truck until you consult with an attorney or someone to legally represent you. And then probably from there, send a written demand and let them know that based on the terms of your lease, X, Y, and Z, you're going to be calling a tow truck every time you see the SUV parked there. Because it very well might turn out that in your lease or some shit like that, there's a written down fuck you clause that basically just states, owner can do whatever he wants and there's nothing you can do in return. But yeah, in the end, not overreacting. Your landlord's being an asshole. And also, start taking photos and documenting when he's in your spot. If you do end up consulting or hiring an attorney, they will thank you for the documentation. Woodpecker Logical 800. Am I overreacting for wanting to delete Life 360 because my boyfriend comments on every stop I make? I'm 28. My boyfriend is 29. We've been together 3 years and living together for 1. After my car broke down at night a few months ago, he suggested we use Life 360 for safety. I agreed because that made sense at the time. Now it feels like it's morphed into monitoring. He'll text me if my battery hits 20%. Why didn't you charge? If I leave work 15 minutes later than usual, what kept you? Or if I stop by the shops, what did you need? We have food. Last week he showed up at the coffee shop near my gym because my dot stalled there for 15 minutes, and he wanted to check on me. He also set arrival/departure alerts on our home and asked why I took a detour to the park after work. I like having a short walk to decompress. I didn't think I needed to announce it. I've told him this is making me feel watched, not cared for. I suggested a compromise. Share location during late night drives or travel only. Keep it, but turn off alerts and battery nags. Or switch to Apple's simple Find My without all the notifications. He says I'm overreacting, that it helps his anxiety, and if there's nothing to hide, what's the issue? What bugs me more is that he often mutes his own alerts and sometimes forgets his phone at the gym, but expects me to be on it 24/7. That double standard is weird. I love him, and he's otherwise a great partner, but this is definitely making me feel trapped. Am I overreacting for wanting to delete the app altogether if he won't turn off the alerts? Is this normal in healthy relationships, or am I being too sensitive? Scripts for resetting this boundary would be super helpful. Would couples therapy be overkill here? Couples therapy would actually probably be a good approach, in all honesty, if you're not quite ready to throw the relationship down the drain yet, because he got his sense of power and control and is now abusing it. He's now monitoring every step you make out of his own quote-unquote anxiety when it's really more of a control thing. The excuse of, well, if there's nothing to hide, then what's the issue? It's a concern of privacy. It's the lack thereof. And not to mention the, if there's nothing to hide, can change at a moment's notice. And that's already happening. Suddenly, because his eyes are prying into every movement and every step you take, it's now, well, shit, like I want to go for my walk, but I don't want to have to deal with the bombardment of questions from my boyfriend, so I'm just going to get back to work. Well, fuck, I'd like to just sit in the coffee shop for a little bit for the ambiance, but I don't want to have to deal with my boyfriend lecturing me on finances. Well, fuck, I left my wallet at home, and now I'm going to have to deal with my boyfriend wondering why it took me 10 extra minutes to leave the house. Rinse and repeat. It's literally now your entire life is being micromanaged and monitored by your boyfriend who went from being someone who wanted you to get Life 365 for your own safety to now it's become your actual prison. The argument of something being for your own safety for which it's then weaponized and abused has been something that has been part of human history since the beginning of time. It is very easy for a security system or for some kind of safety measure to be very quickly weaponized and abused and turned into a monster. I would say the first step is to firmly address this and set a hard boundary. A boundary where you let him know, right then and there, that if he is not willing to work with this, then the relationship is done. Because this is a window right into your future. If he can't compromise on something as simple as, hey, I don't want you to get notifications of my every waking moment, then what else is he not going to compromise on? What other invasions of privacy are you going to have to deal with? Cameras throughout the house, just to make sure that he always knows you're safe. If he can't compromise on this boundary, then you need to get out. Not overreacting. Soft Mira. Am I overreacting for wanting to dump my boyfriend because his dad screamed at me and threw a glass? So, this happened a couple of nights ago and I'm still in shock. My boyfriend, 23 male, and I, 21 female, have been dating for nearly 2 years. His relatives have always been unpredictable. Sometimes nice, sometimes extremely hostile. I generally steer clear of them because they're volatile, but it was his sister's graduation dinner and he begged me to join him. When I inquired if his parents were okay with me being there, he said yes, that they were fine, and just wanted to make peace. I reluctantly agreed. We get there, and things seem fine at first. But halfway through dinner, his dad starts making smart-ass comments about how I'm distracting his son from his career. I attempted to look the other way, but he persisted. And finally, when I quietly said that I didn't appreciate the comments, he snapped. He got up, started screaming at me in front of everyone, and threw a glass across the room. It shattered against the wall not far from where I was sitting. I was terrified. I started to get up, but my boyfriend begged me to stay and not make a scene. I told him I was already humiliated and scared, and he just sat there like a deer in the headlights while his family acted like this was normal. I wound up leaving anyway, in tears. It's been a couple of days. My boyfriend has apologized, saying that he should have stood up for me. He also confessed that his dad has physically lashed out at him and on other occasions, at his siblings too. So I guess that's just how he is. But it's not the way that I am, and I don't want to start to be that way in my life. I love my boyfriend, but I'll be honest, I don't think it's enough here. I hit a wall, and this was it. Am I overreacting by wanting to leave? Comment from Ratchrex. It's RCJH, what do you want from me? I need you to seriously think about what this means down the road. What if you get pregnant? Would you want him watching your child? If he treats you as a full-grown adult this way, what would he do to a child with your DNA? I speak from experience here. While it wasn't physical, my paternal grandma hated my mom, said she trapped her son by getting pregnant at 16. Yet now, they're 60-something and still together, so that was quite the trap. Until the day that woman died, she treated me differently than the other grandchildren. Made a point of saying it's too bad I look and act like my mother. It also sounds like he came very close to hitting you. If it was your boyfriend who did that, you would leave, right? Well, this was his dad. He should have gotten you out of this situation immediately. Full stop. Instead, he told you not to cause a scene right after his dad screamed and threw a glass. So did his dad cause a scene, yet your boyfriend tells you to act right? Honey, no. This is manipulation. He grew up in a home where this is okay behavior and it doesn't seem like he has learned it's not. That is a slippery slope for how he will treat you down the road. I would strongly recommend leaving. If not, bottom line, boyfriend needs therapy before you move forward in the relationship, and he needs to allow you to go no contact with his family. User Ketchu1 comments below. If he fully recognizes that this is horrible, unhealthy behavior that he doesn't want to take forward in relationships, he has serious work and healing to do. He needs therapy. Honestly, the way his dad acts is physically dangerous to you now. You are not safe around him, period. Neither are his family members, but they have made their own choices. Do they have guns or other people in their home? What if he grabs a knife or machete when he gets mad at you next? And plenty of things can injure or kill you that are not intended as weapons. You and your boyfriend both need to read Why Does He Do That? There's a PDF out there online, and I'm sure someone in this thread has already posted it. I haven't been in an abusive relationship myself, but I was a police officer who regularly saw domestic violence cases, and the information in that book was eye-opening. Things like he just loses control and can't help himself, yet somehow only his partner's belongings get smashed up. Never anything important to him. Just asking a question like that to a victim I was interviewing would make wheels start to turn for them. The biggest immediate issue is that your boyfriend has been trained along with the whole family, to tolerate and placate this kind of behavior and blame themselves and each other for setting him off, while he can say or do anything. Of course he hates you. You're showing them that you don't have to accept it. Blaming you and making it your problem in the moment is a big relationship foul, and at least he recognizes that. That's a point in his favor. But he has deep ruts of learned behavior in his brain and spirit, and it's easy to fall back into them unless you really do the work to change things. If that doesn't happen, at best, you will have a situation of constant struggle and negotiation between the two of you as he tries to shine up his spine on his own. I would not fault you at all if you said gently to him, "I like you and I want to be with you, but your family is extremely unsafe for me mentally and physically. They are abusive and don't show any signs of changing. If you want a different life for yourself and want to be a good partner to someone someday, it's going to take work and healing. I can't do it for you, and I can't stay in a dangerous situation while you decide what to do. I wish you well, and I hope you can create a better life for yourself than you have tippy-toeing around an angry, selfish man. Losing a relationship he wants because his family doesn't know how to act and he goes along with it might be the wake-up call he needs, and if it isn't, you can be glad you got out before you were any more tied together." I felt like these two comments conveyed exactly what I would have wanted to say, but far more eloquently than I could have ever. And they also provided more examples and real-life experience that, honestly, I feel are just good for people to hear in general. In the end, of course, I'm going to say not overreacting, and just to listen to these two comments. I think, in my opinion though, the boyfriend should be going no contact with his family. I think they're incredibly abusive and destructive, and he should separate himself from that so the sins of the father don't follow the son. Aggressive Bill 9866. Am I overreacting for considering divorce after discovering my husband's deceitful nature? I, 34 female, have been married to my husband, 35 male, for 5 years. But we've been together since varsity, about 12 years. We have 2 kids, a 7-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. On the surface, everything looks perfect. But I've recently realized my husband has been deceitful. He has a close group of guy friends, some married, some single, who often go out for drinks at night. I've joined them before and noticed that some of his friends, who are in relationships, behaved in questionable ways with random women they met at clubs. When I raised my concerns, I was basically excluded from their outings because, according to him, his friends felt I knew too much. Since then, I felt uneasy whenever he goes out without me and returns the next morning. He always claimed he was just bonding with the guys and enjoying drinks and music. About 2 years ago, I noticed something strange. At 3 a.m., a call came through on his phone. He looked panicked, quickly pressed something, and when I asked to see, he claimed he didn't know who it was and that his phone had an issue. Later, there was no record of the call in the phone logs. We fought about it, but since I had no proof, I let it go. He deleted everything and dismissed it as a glitch. Since then, I've struggled to trust him. Fast forward to a week ago. He went out with the guys again, came back around midnight, and went straight to bed. At 3 a.m., another call came in. Exactly the same scenario. This time, I managed to catch evidence before he deleted it, and he had to admit the truth. He confessed the call was from a girl he met that night, and they had exchanged numbers. He also admitted that the same thing happened 2 years ago. He claims this doesn't happen often, but sometimes when he's out, he meets girls, they exchange numbers, and he usually deletes and blocks them before he gets home. The only reason I found out was because he forgot to delete them the 2 times I caught him. I'm devastated because for 2 years, he made me feel like I was paranoid or imagining things, blaming it on my past experiences with an ex who cheated and a father who cheated on my mother. I told him from the beginning that cheating is a deal breaker for me, and it's a huge trigger. He insists it's not cheating because it's just talking, and he deletes their numbers anyway. But I feel completely betrayed, manipulated, and gaslit. Now I'm torn. Part of me wants to leave because he broke my trust and made me doubt myself, but besides this, he's usually a loving, present partner and father. I also come from a traditional background, and I worry my family and friends won't understand me leaving a marriage and ruining my kids' lives over what they might see as just talking. Am I overreacting? So first off, the phone glitch? That's a lie. That's just a flat-out lie. Phones don't do that unless He literally has just some kind of defective Temu model that doesn't actually properly function. And that's not even mentioning the fact that he just lied to you and gaslit you for 2 years and only admitted to the fact when he got caught red-handed. Now let's pull that back a little bit and let's discuss his logic here. So, he exchanges numbers with girls at the bar or club or wherever he's at, lets them call him and then deletes their numbers apparently, or blocks them. Dude, why not just say no to exchanging numbers when you're at the club? And like, let's just say, okay, well, maybe he didn't say no because he's shy or didn't want to like upset them or just wanted to be nice. So he let them exchange numbers, but then, pulled away from it and just ghosted them afterwards. Okay, still an asshole thing to do. But even if so, why didn't you tell your wife 2 years ago when this happened of just, yeah, I met this girl at a club, she insisted we exchange numbers, so I did, but I have no interest in talking to her, and I blocked her number, that's why you don't see it. Why did he lie about it? Why did he gaslight her for 2 years? Like, there are so many things that he could have done that would have opted me to at least give a bit of benefit of the doubt, but every step he's taken has been shady as fuck. Additionally, what purpose would a girl be calling him at 3 a.m. have? Just to talk and share their feelings? Or is it potentially some kind of friends with benefits situation? I'll let you decide that one. But either way, he's lying to you. And I call bullshit on all of his excuses. Now, OP, if you do come from a traditional family and you need hard evidence or hard proof, then start setting that up. Cameras, call logs, whatever you can. You already know for a fact that his friends are shady as hell and literally excluded you because you watched them flirting with other girls, and when you brought up your concerns, they removed you because you knew too much. I'd say you have 2 paths here. Either gather evidence or set hard boundaries for him. If it weren't for you being in a traditional type marriage, I'd say that you should just, close the book because you don't feel comfortable in this relationship anymore. But sounds like if you don't want to be in a position where your family's ostracizing you, then you gotta start building your case. Good luck. Not overreacting. Posted by user Boo. It's boo with _OO. So, yeah. Am I overreacting for resenting my boyfriend's man of the house attitude while I fund our life? Hey everyone, I could really use an outside perspective on this because I'm starting to feel crazy and used. I need to know if I'm overreacting or if my feelings are valid. I, 20 female, live with my boyfriend, 23 male. We're both international students, though I'm still in uni and he's recently graduated and is now working. Here's the financial situation. Due to some personal stuff, I'm not working right now. My dad gives me a monthly allowance that's more than enough for my needs. My boyfriend has a job, but he's paying off loans, so most of his paycheck goes straight to that. He pays me half the rent, but I cover all of our groceries, utility bills, and pretty much any other daily expense. If he wants something, he asks me to get it. At first, I was cool with helping out, but it's starting to feel off. He'll say things like, "Your dad will give us money," or "I want to watch a movie, you book the movie tickets." The us part really rubs me the wrong way. My dad gives money to me. The kicker, he'll tell me I need to cut back on my spending, but then he'll drop $500 on something for himself and still ask me for money later. But here's the new part that's really getting to me, and it's not just about money anymore. He started using this man and women of the house logic. He says things like, "You're the woman of the house, you should do the laundry and cleaning, and I'm the man of the house." But he can't support me financially. We have a kitten. His contribution is to say, "All I can do is buy food for you. Your mom, me, will feed you and take care of you." But then I'm the one who gives him the money to buy the food. He doesn't even know how to feed her. So I'm funding everything and doing all the physical and emotional labor. I've tried talking to him about the money multiple times over the last 3 months, but it just goes in circles. Now with this women's duty stuff, I feel completely disrespected and more like a mom/bank than a partner. So lay it on me. Am I overreacting? How would you handle this? Is this a red flag parade? Edit. Thanks so much for all your replies, everyone. I read everything, and I really appreciate you taking the time to give me advice. Sorry I couldn't reply to each one. A lot of you are saying to break up, and honestly, I know you're right. It's really hard on me. I'm emotionally dependent on him. He's basically the only person I know in this whole country, and I don't have any friends here. And to be completely honest, we've never even slept together sexually because I've never felt fully comfortable with it, which just adds to this confusing feeling that our relationship is unbalanced in a lot of ways. We've actually broken up a few times before, but we always ended up getting back together on the same day. I know it's a bad cycle and it's wrong, but I feel stuck. A big part of it is my mental health. I have MDD and an anxiety disorder, and I get really bad panic attacks where I basically black out. Therapy and meds haven't really worked for me yet, and in those moments of complete panic, I just need someone there to help me breathe, and he's been that person. It makes it really hard to imagine letting go. And to be totally honest, I'm also scared of how to break up. The last time we did, he didn't even hesitate. He just took our kitten and said he was leaving with her. The thought of being completely alone and losing her too is terrifying. Also, I saw a few comments about my dad's funding. I just wanted to clarify that yes, my dad provides for me, and he's happy to, but it's not just like free money. I worked for him for 2 years and we made some investments together. The allowance I get now is basically my paychecks and profits from that work, which I asked to be given to me while I'm studying abroad. So it feels like my own money that I earned. Thanks again for listening. There are some comments in the AmIOverReacting thread that speculate that he's been getting involved in the whole red pill manosphere area, but honestly, while I do think that is the case, I think that's only enabled some of his more piss-poor behavior. Because there's a mention there of the fact that his first reaction to the breakup was him going for the kitten and leaving. He knows about your anxiety disorders. He knows what you need to function on a day-to-day basis. So what does he do when you two break up? He takes away from you the things that you need, the things that would keep you sane, the things that would worsen your condition if you didn't have them. His ploy there was targeted and purposeful, and in a fucked up way, he probably knows that without you, he can't have any of the things that he's gotten accustomed to. He wouldn't be able to live the life that he has gotten used to piggybacking off of you and your father's investments. I normally try to avoid painting broad strokes in someone's behavior, but his actions here feel very purposeful, malicious even. When you do break up with him, make sure you have full unfettered access to the kitten and they're away somewhere where he can't just grab them and walk away with it. He knows what he's doing. Don't let that fool you. Talk with your parents, get yourself a support network, and additionally, just aside from the relationship stuff, start trying to make some friends. Go to some campus events while you're at school. Do what you can to get people in your life so that way you're not fully dependent on someone who knows that and has been willing to pull those puppet strings to his heart's content. I know it might be tricky with the anxiety and how difficult it is to actually take those steps, but if you can do that, it's one step that you have that can pull you away from that control. And this doesn't just apply to OP either. This, of course, applies to everyone in the audience. If you ever feel like you're trapped in a relationship or trapped in some kind of fucked up family dynamic, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to build relationships that are outside of that are disconnected, ones that you can actually rely on, that can help check you, that can help be there for you, that can help identify areas that you might be overlooking because you've become accustomed to that abuse or those structures or those cycles. It's small and it can be difficult, but it is important. Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code OZ at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.